5. Rick Ryan pulling him down and preventing a sure touchdown.
Well, J.C. Watts has things going his way right now. That's a good throw. Get a zone defense, and he'll drop it over top the linebackers and right down in the hole. Look, there's the linebackers into Smith's hand. Rick Ryan has to come make the tackle, but they're down to the 6-yard line, and they can smell first place now.
First and goal to go, Toronto. They lead 29-10. Third quarter here in Montreal. J.C. Watts with the time, and it's a touchdown, Chris Woods. So now the Argos are pouring it on.
Well, I tell you what, J.C. Watts is having a field day right now. He has got his rhythm going and hitting his receivers right on target. And everybody seems to be getting open down the field. And the running game has helped set up a lot of this.
Well, when you talk about a quarterback, watch, he gets back, gets those feet set, step, throw, on the line, open receiver. That's going to be the result. As you said, he got his rhythm going.
Well, sometimes as a quarterback, if you let the ball go, you're always going to get the contact, so you always got to be prepared. As J.C. Watts got a hit right there after he threw the touchdown, but he'll take the touchdown anytime.
And the point after from Lance Chomick is good. So the Argos are running away with this game now here in Montreal as they run ever closer to first place in the CFL's Eastern Division. And with it, the home field advantage in the 2-game total point Eastern final, which it looks now as if it will begin in Hamilton next weekend, winding up in Toronto the following weekend. And I'm sure that there are many members of the Hamilton Ticats who are watching this game with mixed emotions this afternoon. I know the Hamilton coaching staff are here in full force. Ronnie, you had a chance to talk with Al Bruno before the game.
Well, they feel that it's very important for them to be here at the ball game. You know, the coaches get the game films, and they'll have the film of this game to study all week. But the big thing is to get here, see what's going on, just if they're doing anything a little bit different or things you can anticipate seeing on the film. You can see a game on television, but you don't get the same picture that coaches want to see in order to prepare for a team. That's why they're here.
Lance Chomick getting set to kick off following the Argo touchdown. Treflin just watches it sail over his head into the end zone. This Alouette team is a beaten ball club right now. They give up another single point.
This is the thing that you're always afraid of when you come into a game at the end of the season. You know, it's the other night in Hamilton, for instance, Ottawa came in on a beautiful night to play football. They came out, they got things going their way, and it was a heck of a game. But right now, Montreal, they've got like 25 minutes or so left in their season. They look up the scoreboard and they see a 37-10 score. They know that this season's over, and it's very disappointing, and it's hard to play in a game like this.
Well, let's see what Walter Lewis and the Alouette offense can do. They are 1st and 10 from their own 35-yard line. Lewis may have been a quarterback draw. Finds some running room. Comes up just shy of the 45-yard line.
Well, that was definitely a design play. Walter Lewis just drops back 2-3 steps, hoping that those linebackers drop out of there, reading the backs who are coming out like a pass, and then tries to take it up the middle. That time he was able to gain 9 yards out of it and set them up for a good chance for a first down play.
Just another reminder that we will have the Western semifinals for you on CBC television starting next Saturday, Winnipeg at BC. And then Chuck and I will be at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton on the Sunday for the Eskimos game against Calgary. Lewis with the quarterback sneak. Should have the first down. All he had to do was cross the 45-yard line.
Well, for Walter Lewis, what he needs to do, all the amount of playing time that he can get, he has to continually work on his game. He's a rookie. He hasn't played that much. Brian Ransom has done most of the playing. But these guys have to look ahead to next year in their careers, you know, and he needs to learn. And the only way, we said earlier, the only way to learn is on the field.
1st and 10. Ball just the Argonaut side of the 45-yard line. Lewis, quick pass, intending that for Stiegel, but it's incomplete.
Well, you can look for that defensive secondary for the most part of the Toronto Argonauts just to lay back and play zone and just force that team to work up the field to score any points if they're going to score any time at all. Use up as much time on that clock, and they can come out of here with first place. And with a 37-10 score, that looks good right now for the Toronto Argonauts.
2nd and 10. And this time it's complete to Gerald Alphen. Alphen down to the 51-yard line. Good enough for the first down.
Well, you see Pless dropping out of there. Now Alphen curls around him. Pless thinks he's outside, so he has to come back inside and make the tackle.
Back to the live action. This time Walter Lewis is going nowhere. He's dropped at the midfield stripe by Marlon Jones.
Well, that defensive front four, they know that they're going to be passing. So right now they do it. They pin their ears back and just go after them. They know that they're going to have to throw the ball a lot more, and they're going to take a little more chances. They're going to be stunning, running games between the defensive line and tackles, crossing each other, trying to get as much pressure on that quarterback without using their linebackers to blitz.
That's Rick Ryan sitting on the Montreal bench with some ice on his knee. Lewis tried to go forward, and then he wanted to go back. He was going nowhere. The Argos all over him.
4-man rush. That's all they came at him with. And they put the pressure on Walter Lewis. And as Chuck said, why blitz the linebackers? They got a big lead. Sit back. They know they're going to throw. Go get him. He's back in the pocket. Go get him. And that's exactly what they did.
That's a good situation for the defense to be in. In position. Low spiral punt. Paisley at the 25. And he gets up to about the 28-yard line, where Conrad Holloway and the Argos will scrimmage 1st and 10. They lead 37-10.
Catch all the excitement of the Western semifinals. You'll see both games live on CBC Saturday and Sunday, November 15th and 16th.
Well, we should remind Don Whitman to start digging himself out now, because he does have a date at BC Place Stadium with Ron Lancaster for that Western semifinal, Winnipeg against BC. Chuck Ely and I will be in Edmonton, where the Eskimos will take on the Calgary Stampeders. Well, I mentioned Conrad Holloway perhaps coming in a quarterback. I was trying to do a little coaching for Obi. I wanted to see Holloway into the ballgame. Not that J.C. Watts hasn't done a great game, but I thought it's about time that Conrad's got in.
Well, there's two thoughts in this situation now, whether they're trying to rest Conrad or what. Conrad says he's 100%, he's ready to go. But now J.C. Watts is hot. They're going to continue that type of play throughout the game, I guess, to carry over into the playoffs.
So it's J.C. Watts still at the quarterback position. 1st and 10 Argos. They give to Miller. Miller trying to fight his way up to the 30-yard line.
Right now, 37-10. The Toronto Argonauts have everything going their way. They're going to be content to run on 1st down, throw on 2nd, make that 1st down, keep the ball. They don't need anything big to happen. All they want to do now is just build momentum.
I would think that if you're Bob Obilovich, perhaps the thing you don't want to happen now would be senseless, needless injuries.
That's the big thing, but you can't afford to loaf. Anytime you loaf on a football field, you can get hurt. Don't loaf. Just play good, hard, solid football now. 2nd
and 8. J.C. Watts out of the shotgun, completes to Smith. Smith has the 1st down at the 42-yard line. There goes Fairbanks. And that's not a good sign when he doesn't walk to the dressing room. He's got to take the golf cart. You know, he's in a certain amount of difficulty.
The thing about J.C. Watts right now, he's playing with total confidence now, like he knows where his receivers are going to be. He's playing with some consistency, and I think the rap on J.C. Watts is that he hasn't been able to be consistent throughout the years he's played in the CFL, and if he can keep that up, he'll be an added addition to the Toronto Argonaut offense.
They rolled. The Smith was down at the 41-yard line. 1st and 10, Toronto. J.C. airs it out. He's going long, looking for Willie Miller, but he overthrows him.
Well, that's a good defensive play. Steve Benjamin saw William Miller come on. He did what he should. Stay back. That's the formation they use to throw that quick hitch. So he fakes the quick pass out to the flanker. Now William Miller turns deep. He just tries to throw it to him.
J.C. can still throw that ball a long way when he wants to, can he? So it's 2nd and 10 for Toronto from the 41. Again, J.C. Watts in the shotgun. And again, he completes it for the first down.
One thing about it, when you have the defense coming at you, you know they're going to be in blitz, and when you know they're blitzing, they're playing man coverage. And J.C. Watts, if he gets enough time, he's just running the out patterns, picking up enough yards for the first down.
Shirozka into the ball game for the Toronto Argonauts. And that's something that maybe Obilovich will start to do, is look at some of the other ball players on the bench.
Well, he's got Jeff Watson in the football game now, too. You know, he was the #1 draft choice of Hamilton last year.
Toronto,
it's an opportunity.
Procedure number 64, down repeated.
Stay on side. Chris Schultz moved a little bit early, so they bring it back. Get those guys the opportunity to play, because one injury and they'll be in the ball game. It's a good chance to look at it.
2nd and 15 for the Argos from their own 36. We're in the final seconds of the third quarter. The flag is up. This time J.C. Watts decides to go it himself. And he can still scamper with the ball. Brought down at the 45-yard line of Montreal by Rayford Cooks.
Well, J.C. is doing it all right now. He's passing, he's running the ball well, and he's making the reads well as far as the quarterback. He just drops back to the pocket, and all of a sudden there's nobody there in the middle. The blitz and the linebackers are all gone up the middle, and he just takes what they give him and enough to pick up the first down and keep the drive going.
And the ruling was brought down at the 46-yard line. 1st and 10, Toronto. They lead 37-10. We're in the final seconds, third quarter. Over the middle, complete. And Roscoe's brought down at the inside the 20-yard line.
Well, Chuck's hit it right on the head a minute ago. J.C. Watts is playing with great confidence right now. He has just got everything going his way. Watch how well. They got a blitz on him again. He just looks, makes the read, step, throws it right on target to Paul Pearson, and they're threatening again.
And we have an injured Montreal Alouette down on the field. Mark Hopkins shaken up on that last play.
Well,
looking at his left knee.
You don't know how serious that injury is, but talking to Coach Durchuk, he's had a heck of a time with his linebackers being injured this year. Lost Willie Mitchell, and he lost Lamont Jeffers, some linebackers that were playing very well for him all year long, and that's been part of their problem at times as well. They've had some key injuries to people who have been playing very well for them.
Yeah,
speaking of injuries, are the BC Lions and Winnipeg Blue Bombers going to have enough players left to go into Game 3, Round 3?
Well, I'll tell you what, those are two excellent football teams, and I've enjoyed watching both their games, and I know I'm looking forward, and I know I'm going to enjoy next week's game. The Western Conference, those two semifinals are going to be as good a football games as you're going to see anywhere.
And you'll see them both on CBC television, as we pointed out several times this afternoon, starting with Saturday.
Well, Hopkins is walking off the field. That's a good sign.
It's 1st and 10 for Toronto. The ball just inside the 20-yard line of the Montreal Alouettes. Could be the final play of the third quarter. Out of the shotgun. Watts with lots of time into the end zone, and it's knocked away by Steve Benjamin. And he takes away what could have been a sure touchdown for Pearson, because he was open at the moment that ball was thrown. And there goes the gun to end the third quarter play here in Montreal. It's the Argos 37, the Montreal as we get set to begin the fourth quarter. A fourth quarter that the Argos can more or less just coast through, because they are going to finish in first place in the CFL East. How about that for going out on a limb?
Well, I think they've been impressive with their offense a little more in the second half, and that's a good indication that they'll probably be in first place.
The big thing the Argonauts would like to do is play straight time now. They would want that clock just running for 15 minutes. Get it over. Let's go home. Let's get ready for Hamilton, because this game is over.
We mentioned the fact that Al Bruno and his coaching staff from the Hamilton Ticats are here in attendance in Montreal. I would think they'd have to be impressed with this Argonaut offense in the second half.
I think they're seeing something a little different. They're getting some running and they're getting some passing and some good activity out of J.C. Watts.
J.C. Watts has done a great job the second half. He has moved his club at will, both in the air and on the ground.
He's got a 2nd and 10 situation now from the Al's 20-yard line. Puts it up. It's complete. Good catch by Chris Woods. Just shy of the first down.
Well, when you have things working, you can come up and do any play you want to, any pass pattern. J.C. Watts has got the receivers breaking into the post, and then he comes back as he's got Chris Woods running down and out, and he's hitting him there. So he's coming up with the big plays at the critical times with out patterns and post patterns.
You're leading by 27 points. Your 3rd and 1. I don't think there's any question. You're going to go for it. Although I suppose if you wanted to pull back on putting some points on the board, you might elect to go for the 3, but the Argos are going to go for it. They give it to Willie Miller, and I believe he stopped. The Alouettes did a good job in plugging the hole against Willie Miller. Mark Hopkins leading the way.
Yeah, I think there's not much doubt about it. I don't really believe he got far enough across that line. Looked to me like he had to get it to about 9.5, and I know the Montreal offense has already started on the field, so we'll see.
A little lack of intensity, I thought, there on the part of the Argos. Looked like they were going through the motions. Well, they marked it a first down. A lot of red shirts around the ball. Here it is again.
Well, it's just a straight lead play. William Miller carrying it. A lot of the red jerseys got him pushing back, and they came up a little bit short. Montreal's offense on the field, so it's first down the other way.
1st and 10, Montreal. Lewis at quarterback. And Lewis, one step too many. Rodney Harding was there to greet him as he came up inside the pocket.
One thing as a quarterback, you could tell when a defensive secondary is pretty much in zone in a lot of cases by how the defensive secondary is lined up. And in this case, Daryl Moyer is beginning to line up 15 yards deep before the snap of the ball, and before it snapped, drop back another 5. So you know that they're back just holding on to that secondary.
We'll lose a couple of yards on the play. Let's make it 2nd and 12, Alouettes. Lewis to James Hood, and Hood brought down heavily at the 34-yard line. Good catch, but he paid the price.
Took a heck of a hit. Anytime the ball is in the air for any distance downfield in the middle of the field, you're going to have a collision. And this time, Daryl Moyer and Hood collided, and Hood definitely gets the worst of it. But as you said, he did hang on to the football, and he paid the price for this hit. There it is. The ball's in the air a long way, and it attracts a crowd. The catch is made. Moyer catches Hood, and Hood's the injured ball player.
The thing about it, Ronnie, is that they're playing so deep back there in that secondary that they're allowing the ball to be thrown in that distance because they don't want to get beat deep. And like you said, Ron, when the ball has to travel that far, you have time to react back up to the area where the guy catches it, and Daryl Moyer made a good hit.
My fault, gentlemen. I called James Hood. It was Jacques Chapdelaine who went up and pulled that down.
Well, here's where you get the good look at it. Now, the ball's in the air like 25, 30 yards downfield. So Moyer's going to the ball. Chapdelaine's going to the ball. Chapdelaine gets the ball. Moyer gets him.
37-10, Toronto lead. We'll be back with more fourth quarter action right after this.
Brian Williams reminding you to stay with CBC Sports for all the excitement of Grey Cup 86. Saturday, November 29th, we'll have the parade live from Vancouver. I'll be in Vancouver as we anchor Sports Weekend live from under the dome. Then, of course, Sunday afternoon, November 30th, it is Grey Cup 86. We will have a special 90-minute pregame show followed by the game itself. As usual, for the best in sports, the best in Canadian football, CBC Sports is the place to be.
Brian, I attended a press conference in Montreal or in Vancouver earlier this week where they were talking about the Festival 86 in Vancouver. It is going to be a fun-filled week. There is something for everyone. You should check out the schedule if you're heading to Vancouver for Grey Cup. I think you'll enjoy Festival 86. 1st and 10 for the Alouettes. Lewis is going to run it. Does a good job in getting up to about the 47, 48-yard line before he's brought down by David Marshall.
Well, there's Jacques Chapdelaine. Took the hit. Looks like crossed his thighs where Daryl Moyer caught him with the shoulder pads, which is that's going to be a Charlie horse that he'll feel for the next week or so. He's going to have a long time to recuperate, though.
Daryl Moyer, of course, the former Montreal Alouette, now with the Argos, putting his former teammate on the sidelines with that good hit, good clean hit. 1st and 10, Montreal. They get to Faulkner, and Faulkner tripped up before he can get back to the original line of scrimmage.
Well, Montreal just trying to run the football. They're still calling the plays for Walter Lewis from the sideline. You see him looking over. Brian Ransom signals them into him.
A loss of 2 on the play. 2nd and 12 for Montreal. 37-10 Toronto lead. 4th quarter action here in Montreal. Lewis intends that for Gil Stiegel, but it's incomplete.
For some reason, the balls are sailing today on the Montreal quarterbacks. Almost all of them have been high. Chuck, tell them why. Why does the ball sail on you?
Well, I think it was your philosophy about the air. And I think in Montreal, I think the air is a little different than it is out west. Is that right?
Definitely a lighter air, is it not? Or a heavier air? I'm confused.
It's
I never
heavy air
understood
from
it
the
from the
ground
first place.
up. See, so it pushes it up.
Okay.
You guys really get on me about that. I tell you what, I got all kind of theories. Of course, none of them are any good, but they're mine.
That's true. Heavy air, light air.
One thing about my theories, no one takes the credit for them but me, because no one agrees with them.
Andrew Zishin got good air on that one. And Edwards takes it out of bounds at the 21-yard line, forced out of bounds by Glenn Colcott.
Glenn Colcott was acquired by Montreal from the Edmonton Eskimos in a trade that took Brian Illerbrun from Montreal to Edmonton, who was then traded to Saskatchewan. But Colcott is a young football player, played down in Bakersfield Junior College for a while. Now Gary Turchik says he's going to be a pretty good football player.
See, I told you they were going to put Conrad Holloway into the ball game. Holloway in a quarterback for the Argos. 1st and 10 from the 21. He pitches to Miller. And Miller cuts it up. Has the first down. Terry Irvin over there to make the stop. Boy, you've got to be impressed with the way this Miller has run the ball this afternoon.
Well, it's like we said, he doesn't like being a backup running back. He wants to be the starter. And the way he's played today, he has to get some consideration. He just takes the toss, gets some good blocks by Hudson, and then outside takes on Terry Irvin, but Irvin brings him down, but not before he gets 12 yards and another first down.
Spot the ball at the 35-yard line. Holloway again pitching to Willie Miller. I guess you figure if it works once, why not go again?
Well, as Roddy's pointed out earlier, they're going to probably use the system where they're going to run on first down and pass when they have to on second down. Use up as much time as they can in the clock. And the man they can go to is William Miller. He's been playing hard the whole game, running very well. And if he gets the opportunity, he can take one all the way.
You know, if you're Bob Obilovich, you have to be happy with the performance of William Miller. And the main thing, there's nothing like competition for a job. Cedric Minard down there, he sees William Miller playing well. He'll get healthy for you in a hurry. You don't want to ever lose your job.
That's guaranteed a quick cure. Holloway is going to pass for the first time in the game. And he almost found his man who was down on the ground.
It's Bob Obilovich. He's got to be feeling much better about this game and about the offensive performance that he was hoping to have. He's been taking a lot of criticism lately about a lot of changes, a lot of things that have happened with that offensive team. And today they put together a good play.
You don't think he was getting any criticism from his general manager, do you?
I don't know.
No, Leo wouldn't do that.
That general manager watches that offense very closely.
And that general manager's about 2 feet away. We're going to talk to him in a couple of minutes. Hank Elisic in a punting situation for the Argos. Martin. Reverse to Treflin. And Trefler gets up to the 48-yard line, where Montreal will scrimmage 1st and 10. They trail in the ball game 37-10. From ear to ear, as well he might, come on, smile, is the general manager of the Toronto Argonauts, our former confrere of the broadcast booth, Leo Cahill. Leo, you've got to be impressed with what your club has done on the field today.
Well, we are very impressed, Steve, and it's the first time all year at this stage of the ball game I've been able to smile because our games have been so close. But you know, a lot of plaudits go to individuals today. William Miller, as you've all mentioned, has had a great game out there this afternoon. But the guy that gets my vote for the hero of the day today is Mark Napolitan, who plays offensive center, and you haven't seen number 71 that active in there today for Montreal. And Napolitan's a kid that came in Tuesday. He was with a 5th-round draft choice of Seattle and was with the Buffalo Bills this year. And he came in Tuesday and has worked this week and has played the whole ball game. And when Del Call went down, he made the deep snaps also. So this kid has just done a tremendous job, and he's really cemented that offensive line this afternoon. I think that's where a lot of our successes come from.
Just like old times, Leo, I ask you one question, you go forever. And Montreal get up 2 offensive plays. Ransom is back in a quarterback for the Alouettes, and he gets up to the 44-yard line.
Leo, some of those receivers for Toronto today, they've been as open as a white goat on a mountain. Did you notice that?
Yeah, that's right. Did you notice that? They sure have. I'll tell you, they got somebody from Montreal as open as that, too, one time there early in the ball game, which threw a little bit of a scare into us. But, you know, another guy that I want to point out that's just done a tremendous job is number 74, Darrell Smith, back in there. And he's going to be a fine young receiver. And, you know, there's a lot of these guys that are beginning to come of age now. And they're maybe just coming of age at the right time.
On a 1st and 10 situation, Ransom passing from the 45-yard line, completes to Sean Faulkner. Continue, Leo.
Leo, you got to be very happy with the performance of J.C. Watts under the circumstances.
I'll tell you one thing, I've been a J.C. Watts guy all along, and I've always felt, and you know, I talked with the coach over in Ottawa before when he was there in Ottawa, and he said that, you know, they were 5-1. When he got hurt one year, he felt that they could have gone all the way to the Grey Cup, and we picked him up, and a lot of people second-guessed our picking him up, and I just feel he's an outstanding guy. And Perry Moss, an old coach I used to coach with, says those leopards don't change their spots.
Oh, right.
If you're a winner and if you have a consistency in winning, you're going to do that in the future, and JC is just coming into his own now with our football team. This game will really do him an awful lot of good.
Leo, next week, I don't think people really realize how much of a rivalry there is between Hamilton and Toronto, but I know you do from a long time ago. I think that that's going to be a war. What's your feelings?
Well, I don't think there's any question about that, Ron. And one of the real things that I used to enjoy when I was coaching was that rivalry, because you know, you talk about a lot of rivalries, but I don't think there's any more heated than that. And no one used to be safe anywhere between Toronto on the highways between Toronto and Hamilton. And it's going to be that way again. And, you know, they're going to be waiting for us, and they're a good football team, and we're going to have to play our best. But I think we're coming of age at the right time.
Are you going to wear your equipment next week, just in case? I mean, you love that rivalry. I think you can play next week.
I'm going to go with a mustache so nobody will recognize it.
How about a sellout in both ballparks? Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't that be nice?
I think that there's a good chance that Hamilton will sell out next week in anticipation of us being there. And if we have the good fortune to hold that game close,